Alice is caught by Charles, who threatens her using her deceased mother. Alice kneels and pleads for him to let her go. Charles has mixed feelings towards Alice, gripping her chin and kissing her forcefully. A few months ago, Alice, burdened with massive debts, met Charles's mother, Mary. Charles, prioritizing his art over family wealth, Mary understands Alice's predicament. She offers $10 million and demands Alice to seduce her son Charles, then coldly break up with him under the pretense of chasing money. She aims to make Charles realize the importance of money and power, prompting him to return to inherit the family estate. In Alice's mind, she constantly weighs the pros and cons, recalling her mother on her sickbed, her debts, making this deal seem profitable. Although her conscience troubles her, she seems to have no other way out. Remembering the nights spent shuttling between the hospital and home, the huge debts, her ailing mother, and the nauseating neighbor harassing her, all make her feel overwhelmed, unsure of how much longer she can endure. Since the opportunity has arrived, she decides to seize it, to survive first and foremost. After much consideration, Alice finally decides to agree to Mary's request and accept the money in order to save her mother. Charles has a great talent for photography, but his income sources are limited by Mary, forcing him to rely on selling photo collections to make a living. Today, his art collection was rejected by his boss. Alice intentionally came here just to run into Charles. Her plan officially begins. With the information provided by Mary in hand, Alice can easily engineer a chance encounter. Charles, however, believes it's fate. Learning that Alice has opened a cafe, he frequently comes to help out. Their bond grows stronger. It's time for a bit of excitement. Alice clears the debts owed to her neighbor and asks them to cause a scene at the cafe, giving Charles a chance to play the hero. Charles, who already has feelings for her, can't stay indifferent. He immediately steps forward to shield Alice, leading to an inevitable conflict. Unexpectedly, Charles seems to care for Alice more than she imagined. The blow that lands on Charles makes Alice feel a bit sorry and dazed. Nonetheless, everything goes according to plan. Alice tenderly tends to Charles, advising him to avoid such situations in the future. Deliberately getting closer, they cross a boundary of intimacy. Alice expresses her gratitude to Charles with ambiguous words, drawing closer involuntarily. Charles, still reeling from the recent drama, is defenseless in this atmosphere. They tenderly kiss each other. The two, confirming their romantic relationship, behave like any normal, affectionate couple. On this day, Mrs. Mary paid a visit. She informs Alice that the plan can come to a close. However, it's evident that Alice is smitten. Charles genuinely loves her, and now she must break his heart. Faced with Charles's careful preparations for Valentine's Day, Alice feels like she's split into two people. While sweetly posing for photos taken by Charles, she's torn inside. Snatching the camera, she kisses him. Charles, oblivious, revels in his girlfriend's initiative, enjoying a wonderful evening. As Alice caresses Charles's sleeping face, she recalls her meeting with Mary. Mary states that the $10 million bought Alice's heart and dignity. She reminds Alice that her mother, lying ill in bed, needs this money. All of this is wrong, but Alice feels trapped. She begins her wrap-up plan. Charles comes to the cafe to find her, but she avoids his touch. Charles is confused, considering how sweet they were last night. Following the original plan, he kneels down to propose to Alice. He loves her and wants a future with her. Alice throws it back at Charles, mocking his proposal with something so cheap. Charles apologizes, promising to save up for a diamond ring. Alice pushes away Charles's hand, telling him to come back to talk about marriage when he can afford a ring. Charles is saddened, but since Alice has this request, he's determined to make it happen. Charles goes to a second-hand store and sells his limited edition watch, a gift he received from his father before his passing, filled with his father's blessings and love. He has treasured it for years. However, he believes his father wouldn't blame him, as he has found the person he truly loves. Charles buys the diamond ring with the money. However, he sees Alice walking with the person who used to bully her, and that man even gives a room key to Alice. Charles angrily questions why Alice is with such a troublemaker. Alice raises the room key, telling Charles not to disturb her. Charles doesn't understand why this is happening. Alice informs Charles of the reason. This man is wealthy. Not only did he help her clear her debts, but he also took care of her mother's medical expenses. He takes out the bought ring, wanting to explain, but Alice pushes him away, and the ring falls to the ground. Alice expresses that she wants money. She tells Charles to work hard and don't dream to improve himself only with his pile of junk. Everything is over. Mary sent her assistant, Hayden, to persuade Charles. Charles recalls Alice's accusations, which feel like sharp knives piercing his heart. He believes it's time to go back, abandoning his dreams and returning to a home filled only with money. On the other hand, Alice is informed that she is pregnant. She is happy and wants to keep the child. Waiting outside the corridor for further tests, without Charles, she at least can keep his child. She sees Charles has returned home to inherit the family business, sighs, and gently caresses her belly. Meanwhile, the doctor informs Mary of Alice's pregnancy. Alice, unable to forget Charles, sees her photo in his photography exhibition, priced at $1, labeled Deceiver. She buys the painting for $5 million. Charles quickly learns of this and instructs his subordinates to investigate. Gina has greatly improved after effective treatment. She prepares hot tea for Alice and urges her to drink it. Suddenly, Gina's expression changes. She accuses Alice of selling herself for money, getting pregnant before marriage, and slaps her. She informs Alice that the tea she just drank contained abortion pills. Heartbroken, Alice pleads with Gina to let her keep the child, the only link she has left to Charles. Gina worries about tarnishing Alice's reputation and her future marriage prospects. As the abortion pills take effect, Alice is too weak to plead anymore and collapses. Meanwhile, Charles's subordinate identifies the buyer of the painting. Upon hearing Alice's name, Charles stands up in shock. Learning that Alice has scheduled an abortion, he rushes out in distress. Hayden learns about the whole situation from Charles's assistant and immediately informs Mary over the phone. Alice is on the operating table, still struggling to save the child. However, the doctor says it's beyond saving. Desperately, Alice closes her eyes. After the surgery, she walks weak and desolate through the hospital. Charles rushes over in a panic, and a nurse arrives to explain post-abortion care to Alice. Charles incredulously reads the medical report, questioning why she gave up their child. Holding her stomach, Alice stares blankly at her former lover and continues to express that she no longer loves him. Charles refuses to believe it. As Alice is unsure of her next steps, Mary arrives, asking about Alice's mother's health. Alice understands Mary's implication instantly. She turns and delivers the most hurtful words, telling Charles that she knew from the start about his inheritance, deliberately getting close to him for his wealth. The plan was exposed by Mary, forcing her to end it. Charles, struggling, finally asks if Alice's feelings for him were genuine. Alice pushes him away, stating she only loves his money. This enrages Charles, and Hayden immediately pulls Charles away. Mary enters Alice's hospital room. Initially, when Alice was found to be pregnant, Mary got wind of it. Deliberately, she informed Alice's mother of the news. Through Alice's mother, Mary arranged for the abortion. Alice is shocked to discover how heartless Mary truly is. She confronts Mary, but Mary leaves after handing her a check. This shatters Alice's emotional defenses, as her self-esteem is continuously undermined by Mary. Feeling remorseful for her mistakes, Alice decides to live a better life with her mother. However, when Alice steps out, her mother leaves a letter and quietly departs from the room. Upon Alice's return, her mother is nowhere to be found. It turns out her mother felt she was a burden to Alice and decided to end her own life. Frantically searching for her mother, Alice realizes it's too late. Her mother has tragically taken her own life by jumping from a building. 2 years later, Charles finally meets the person he has been yearning for day and night. However, at this moment, Charles harbors mixed feelings towards Alice. His forceful kiss leaves Alice puzzled. After she breaks free, Charles throws her onto the sofa, attempting to coerce her and even choking her. It turns out that Mary has been pressuring Charles into marriage. Despite his conflicting emotions towards Alice, he deeply loves her. Hence, he plans to force Alice into marriage with him by offering 50 million. This perplexes Alice greatly, as she believes Charles despises her, making his behavior incomprehensible to her. Charles uses the excuse of hating her to justify keeping Alice by his side for life, treating her as his servant, subjecting her to a lifetime of torment. Regardless of Alice's refusals, Charles remains adamant, forcefully grabbing her hand to make her sign the agreement. Looking at the marriage certificate in her hands, Alice treasures it, but Charles casually tosses it to his assistant, leaving Alice deeply hurt. Charles takes Alice to a high-end clothing store, intending to dress her in exquisite attire for a banquet. Despite trying on several beautiful outfits, Alice constantly faces Charles's disapproval. In the end, Alice puts on a specially tailored gown. Slowly pulling back the curtain, Charles is amazed by the sight of Alice in a diamond-studded gown. Charles walks slowly towards the adorned Alice, caresses her cheek, then suddenly grasps her chin, mocking how her beauty once seduced and hurt him. Subsequently, he brings Alice to his home. However, their relationship is very distant, so before entering, Charles pauses and places Alice's hand on his arm. Today happens to be Mary's birthday banquet. As this well-matched couple enters Mary's home, everyone is amazed, curious about Alice's identity. Charles intentionally brings Alice to provoke Mary, causing Mary's displeasure. Using an excuse, Mary calls Charles aside. Charles instructs Alice to wait in place for his return and then leaves, leaving Alice alone. After Charles leaves, onlookers speculate about Alice's identity, mistakenly assuming that her exceptional beauty indicates she is Charles's kept woman. Meanwhile, Mary remains resentful towards Charles for his lingering thoughts about Alice. She urges Charles to get rid of Alice, believing that this child from a poor family is too vain and unworthy to stay by Charles's side. Charles argues back, revealing the truth that he is married to Alice, angering Mary. Mary demands that Charles divorce Alice immediately, but Charles laughs it off, stating that if Mary forces him to divorce, he will remain single for life. John, on the other hand, approaches Alice, continuously flirting with her, hoping she will spend the night with him in exchange for money. Ignoring him, Alice tries to walk away but is blocked by John. His words enrage Alice, leading her to splash her drink on John's face. This angers John, who prepares to strike Alice, but Charles arrives just in time. He pushes John aside, who unrepentantly claims that Alice was intentionally seducing him. To everyone's surprise, Alice repeats John's exact words to Charles, further enraging him. Rolling up his sleeves, Charles punches John. Despite John's threats to bring his father for vengeance, Charles disregards him and instead grabs Alice's hand, warning John. At that moment, John's father arrives, realizing his son's mistake and apologizes profusely to Charles and Alice. John finally understands Charles's methods and, at his father's insistence, slaps himself as a form of apology. Mary is extremely angry with Charles for reconnecting with Alice, scolding Hayden for it. Upon returning home, Charles taunts Alice for her passive means of allowing herself to be bullied. He grabs Alice, insisting that she stay by his side. These tragic lovers clearly deeply love each other, but due to contracts and misunderstandings, they are reluctantly hurling hurtful words at each other. It is precisely because of their deep love for each other that their words are so cutting. Just as Alice is about to leave, Charles stops her and places an exquisite diamond ring on her finger. This triggers memories for Alice of when she and Charles broke up, as Charles had intended to propose with that ring. However, Charles mocks Alice, claiming she is too hypocritical a woman to deserve the ring he genuinely offered. Not only that, Charles tells Alice not to delude herself. He now only harbors hatred, not love, for her. His cold words pierce her heart. After leaving Alice's room, Charles retreats to his study to drown his sorrows in alcohol. Kevin, his assistant, trying to dissuade him, but it is useless. The next day, upon learning from Kevin that Alice is working at Sheldon's company, Charles rushes to the office. Alice works as an assistant at Sheldon's company, assisting female celebrities, and faces constant bullying from them. When Charles arrives at the building of Sheldon's company, he encounters Alice returning with many bubble teas. Despite Kevin asking if he should greet Alice, Charles declines. Alice notices Charles, but he walks into the lobby without acknowledging her. The elevator doors open, revealing Charles and Kevin inside, making Alice feel awkward. Kevin offers to help carry some items for Alice, and although she initially hesitates, she agrees because of Charles's presence. From then on, Charles ignores Alice, making her feel uncomfortable. Initially reluctant to accept Kevin's assistance, Alice eventually agrees upon learning that it was Charles who instructed Kevin to help her. As Kevin accompanies Alice to deliver the bubble teas to Lily's dressing room, Lily recognizes Kevin and realizes that Charles is also present, which delights her. Misinterpreting Lily's words, Alice misunderstands the relationship between Charles and Lily. Sheldon is somewhat surprised by Charles's arrival and misunderstands that Charles came for the gossip target Lily. However, Sheldon proposes to invest in Charles's company, requesting a 33% stake. Thinking that Charles wants to invest to get closer to Lily, Sheldon believes Charles is doing this to protect Lily. Unbeknownst to Sheldon, all of Charles's actions are solely for Alice. Lily, curious about Alice and Kevin's acquaintance, inquires about their relationship. Alice conceals the truth and faces criticism from Lily. At that moment, Charles arrives. Delighted by Charles's arrival, Lily happily takes his hand. Charles glances at Alice with guilt, only to sadly realize that Alice shows no signs of jealousy. As Alice is about to leave, Lily arrogantly demands that she not disturb her and Charles anymore. Lily tries to get closer to Charles, but she is rejected. After Alice emerges, her co-workers at the company gossip about Charles and Lily's relationship. Listening to this conversation, Alice feels uneasy, a bit jealous, and mistakenly believes that Charles has fallen for Lily. Alice makes an excuse to leave. When Charles comes out and notices Alice walking away, he quickly follows her. Charles catches up with Alice and presses her against the wall. Seeing tears fall from Alice's eyes, Charles can't help but tenderly wipe them away and kisses her. Pushing him away, Alice questions why he continues to torment her. She has had enough of Charles's endless torment and the way he tramples on her dignity with money. Her words enrage Charles, who grabs her throat, accusing her of being a vain woman with no right to bargain or blame him. Fearless, Alice faces him, prompting Charles to angrily punch the wall behind her. Due to Alice's past deception and betrayal, Charles is destined to hate her and subject her to a lifetime of torment. Not wanting to continue the entanglement, Alice leaves. Lily also notices the strange. Approaching Charles with his coat, Lily is met with his demand to throw it in the trash. Charles angrily leaves Sheldon's company, and Kevin, watching Charles's insincere behavior, suggests that he calmly communicate with Alice, but Charles stubbornly rejects Kevin's advice. Due to jealousy over Alice's relationship with Charles, Lily intentionally arranges for Alice to return the expensive jewelry. Alice readily agrees. Unbeknownst to her, this is a trap set by Lily. Tonight is expected to have heavy rain, and the return location is exceptionally far. Arriving at the company entrance, Alice encounters Kevin and Sheldon. As the taxi arrives for Alice, Sheldon misunderstands Kevin's gentlemanly behavior towards Alice, assuming Kevin has romantic feelings for her. Kevin warns Sheldon not to provoke Alice, leaving Sheldon feeling perplexed. Indeed, it starts pouring heavily at night, and upon Alice's arrival, she learns that today's shoot on the set has been canceled due to the rain. Feeling helpless, Alice intends to seek help from Charles. However, Charles, angry about the day's events, ignores Alice's calls. Furthermore, Alice's phone has run out of battery. Upon learning from Kevin about the truths from the past, Charles excitedly accompanies him to a private room. It turns out that all the misunderstandings and hurts from the past were orchestrated by Mary. The reason for Alice's mother's illness and her family's massive debt, all were planned by Mary. Mary aimed to create a situation where Alice would owe a substantial debt, leading her to accept Mary's money and deceive Charles intentionally, causing their relationship to fall apart. Not only that, but the child of Alice and Charles was also part of Mary's scheme, resulting in the child being aborted. Regretful upon learning the whole truth, Charles wants to apologize to Alice, but cannot reach her. Kevin mentions Alice being sent out in the heavy rain to return the jewelry, which deeply concerns him. Sheldon, curious about Charles's abrupt departure, stops Kevin to inquire. Faced with Sheldon's questions, Kevin jokingly replies, "Prepare a coffin," before hurrying to catch up with Charles. Charles hurries to where Alice is, and when he sees her standing alone in the pouring rain, it only adds to Charles's heartache. Holding an umbrella, Charles approaches Alice. Charles pulls her up, embraces her, and leads her back to the car. Worried about causing trouble for Charles, Alice carefully explains why she was left there and repeatedly apologizes to Charles. This deepens Charles's guilt towards Alice. Now aware of the truth, he realizes that it was him and Mary who caused so much harm to Alice. Despite Alice assuring him that she won't disturb him in the future, Charles cannot resist kissing her. Upon returning home and seeing Alice asleep, Charles calls Kevin, instructing him to uncover the truth about the fire at Alice's home years ago. Overwhelmed by guilt and affection as he watches Alice sleeping, Charles tenderly kisses her. On this day, Alice is folding clothes for Lily when Lily intentionally probes about the return of the jewelry, surprised to learn that Alice had successfully returned. Just then, Kevin arrives to inform Lily that Charles needs to see her. After Lily leaves, Alice sits down feeling a bit sad. Excitedly heading to Charles's office, Lily is handed a $5 million check by Charles and informed that their contract is being terminated, with no future collaborations. Reluctant to go, Lily asks Kevin why Charles has suddenly become so harsh, only then learning that Charles is aware of her mistreatment of Alice. Unable to understand why Charles cares so much about Alice, Lily eventually discovers Alice's true identity through her inquiries. Learning from Kevin that Charles had initially tolerated her stirring up scandals because of her unintentional actions, similar to how Alice had treated Charles in the past, Lily regrets her misunderstanding of Charles's feelings. Still not giving up, Lily tries to use their previous scandal to blackmail Charles. However, handling scandals is not difficult for Charles, and it is Lily's career that will suffer. Ultimately, she agrees to leave the company. After resolving Lily's situation, Kevin returns to Charles's office. Upon learning that Alice doesn't feel jealous about his relationship with Lily, Charles feels a bit sad. When Alice arrives home, she finds Charles waiting for her. Despite his tough exterior, Charles questions why she came home so late. Upon discovering that Alice was working overtime, he lacks the courage to express concern for her. As Alice turns to go to the bathroom, Charles quietly calls Kevin to arrange for him to contact Sheldon to prevent future overtime work. However, this is overheard by Alice. Charles feels a bit embarrassed. He ends up saying something that upsets Alice. He claims he only wants Alice to prioritize household chores over overtime work. Realizing the hurtful impact of his words on Alice, Charles regrets his harshness and impulsively slaps himself in remorse. Early the next morning, Alice unexpectedly does household chores before heading to work, and Charles realizes she is somewhat upset. To his surprise, Alice even prepares breakfast for Kevin, leaving Charles feeling jealous. In the office, as Lily packs up to leave the company, she publicly admits to intentionally stirring up rumors with Charles and clarifies their relationship. This revelation surprises Alice, leading to discussions among the others. After clarifying matters, Lily hastily leaves the office. Alice impulsively considers contacting Charles, but ultimately decides to hang up the phone. Meanwhile, Charles anxiously awaits Alice's call, but to his surprise, Alice inquires through Kevin if he has any food preferences for the evening. This leaves Charles feeling very jealous. After returning home, Charles is surprised to find that Alice has prepared a lavish dinner. This gesture makes Charles feel the warmth of family, and he is delighted. Seizing the moment, Alice apologizes to Charles, expressing regret for her previous misunderstanding of his relationship with Lily. The air is finally cleared between them. After Charles takes a shower, Alice hands him a set of freshly laundered pajamas. Charles accepts the pajamas, but unexpectedly notices that Alice is not wearing her wedding ring. Alice explains that she keeps the ring safe due to its value. Charles, however, asks her to bring out the ring and gently helps her put it back on, which moves Alice. Charles takes the opportunity to add Alice's contact information, stating that she can reach him directly for anything. Just as she is about to leave for a shower, Charles stops her. He embraces her, expressing remorse for his past mistreatment, and confesses his enduring love for her, hoping they can start anew. Alice feels touched and agrees. In this moment, both finally find peace, sharing a deep kiss that conveys their love for each other. This morning, Alice prepares a breakfast bento box for Charles, which greatly pleases him. Charles slowly takes Alice's hand, expressing gratitude for her efforts. Kevin suddenly appears. Seeing this, Alice asks if Kevin needs a breakfast box to go as well. Kevin, feeling guilty as he notices Charles's jealousy, ultimately declines. Charles is in high spirits because of the breakfast prepared by Alice. However, due to a sudden meeting, he leaves first. Upon his return, Charles is shocked to find his breakfast eaten by Sheldon, who is quite satisfied and asks where such a delicious meal was purchased. This angers Charles. He demands that Sheldon not take his things without permission, but Sheldon brushes it off and questions why employees can't work overtime. Unbeknownst to Sheldon, Charles's anger and demands are all for Alice. Seeing Charles's anger escalating, Kevin immediately takes Sheldon away. Charles, looking at his breakfast being consumed, is very upset. Kevin guides Sheldon to the office door and advises him not to provoke Charles in the future, leaving Sheldon confused but finally leaves. After Kevin and Sheldon leave, Charles contacts Alice, hoping to enjoy the sandwiches she will make for him the next morning. Alice agrees, and the two, now free of misunderstandings, are incredibly happy. However, the peace is disrupted by the presence of Mary. Charles is somewhat angry at Mary's arrival. He admits that he is aware of Mary's past schemes, how she cornered Alice into a difficult situation, forcing her to comply with her demands. Throughout it all, Alice was merely a pawn in Mary's hands, with Mary being the one responsible for the fire at Alice's home, the enormous debts incurred, and Alice having to follow Mary's every command. Faced with Charles's accusations, Mary shows no sign of remorse. Before leaving, Mary's parting words instill fear in Charles, prompting him to immediately instruct Kevin to investigate the identity of Alice's father. On the other side, Mary decides to meet Alice with the intention of forcing her to leave. When Alice exits the company, she is intercepted and taken away by Hayden. Mary arrogantly offers Alice a sum of money, allowing her to choose any amount as long as she agrees to leave Charles. However, the current Alice, having lost all her family, is no longer afraid of Mary's threats. She firmly states that as long as Charles still loves her, she will not abandon him. Mary then has Hayden deliver a document to Alice. Looking at the document, Alice learns that Mary had long known about her family's situation. To coerce Alice into complying with her demands, Mary arranged for Hayden to deliberately start a fire, which resulted in her mother being burned and her father dying at a construction site due to Mary's use of substandard industrial materials in order to make money. All the harm inflicted upon Alice's parents was orchestrated by Mary. Shocked by this revelation, Alice is appalled by Mary's cruelty. Despite this, Mary shows no remorse, insisting that Alice's family is insignificant to her. Enraged, Alice grabs Mary by the neck and condemns her ruthlessness. Furthermore, Mary threatens that it was her plan all along, orchestrated due to the encounter between Charles and Alice. On the day they met, Charles, witnessing Alice's distress over her father's death, compassionately handed her his umbrella, leading Mary to discover Alice's background and decide to use her to test Charles. It was Charles's kindness that inadvertently entangled Alice in such a grand scheme. Charles returns home and sees a despondent Alice standing there, realizing she has learned the whole truth. When Alice sees him, she questions when he found out about the truth. Charles admits he just found out all the facts. Faced with Charles's guilt, Alice is unwilling to accept it. To her, Mary has caused immense harm to her family, making it impossible for her to forgive all the past wrongdoings just because she loves Charles. Alice insists on a divorce, but Charles is unwilling to accept it. He is willing to do anything for Alice, but her sole request is for Mary to be imprisoned and face the consequences. She pushes Charles away, rejecting his pleas. On a rainy night, Alice, in the former rental house, uses a knife to damage Charles's work, while Charles stands sadly below, begging for her forgiveness. Kevin finds Charles standing in the rain. Regardless of Kevin's attempts to persuade him, Charles insists on waiting downstairs for Alice to return. However, it is this downpour that causes Charles to fall ill. Charles develops a high fever. He stubbornly refuses to go to the hospital, so Kevin contacts Alice. Kevin informs Alice about Charles's condition and his reluctance to go to the hospital. Still upset, Alice is unwilling to care for Charles. Charles, feeling dejected, eventually faints. Despite her initial reluctance, Alice can't help but show concern for Charles and ends up caring for him. Weakly, Charles expresses his love to Alice, wanting to give her an explanation. However, although Alice deeply loves Charles, the presence of Mary between them makes it impossible for her to accept his love. When Charles wakes up again, Alice has fallen asleep from exhaustion. Charles gently lifts her and places her on the bed. At that moment, Kevin informs him that Mary has arrived. Before leaving, Charles tenderly kisses Alice on the forehead. It turns out Mary came to visit Charles upon learning about his illness. Mary insists on finding a doctor. Charles already feels suffocated by Mary's presumptuous actions. Their argument wakes up Alice. In Mary's eyes, Alice is just a lonely girl without a wealthy family background, deemed unworthy of marrying into their family. They engage in a heated argument, and Alice quietly approaches the staircase to listen. Charles presents all the evidence he has gathered, trying to persuade Mary to confess to the mistakes she has made over the years. Stubborn Mary still believes that people are classified based on their wealth, and as someone wealthy, she believes she has the right to control others' lives. To her, individuals like Alice from impoverished backgrounds have insignificant lives, mere ants to be manipulated at will. Mary accuses Charles, claiming it was his kindness that led her to discover Alice's existence. Charles is appalled by Mary's words, realizing her ruthlessness, where human life is trivial compared to money, leading to the use of substandard industrial materials that ultimately caused the death of Alice's father. Seeing the malicious side of Mary, Charles feels estranged. He used to think of Mary as just overbearing, but he never expected her to commit such despicable acts. At this moment, the police arrive on the scene. Mary is incredulous at Charles's report, believing she did everything for his sake, but Charles remains unmoved. Nevertheless, Charles feels deeply pained. Charles finally agrees to divorce Alice. Upon seeing the compensation Charles offers in the agreement, Alice refuses it. Mary's imprisonment is already enough for her. Material possessions mean little to her, and she is not eager for them. Charles ultimately agrees to Alice's request, promising to revise the divorce agreement. Observing Charles's sadness, Kevin can't help but wonder why, despite resolving everything, the two who love each other still choose to part ways. Unbeknownst to Charles in the car, Alice continues to shed tears, deeply reluctant to part ways with Charles, as she still loves him dearly. In prison, Mary wishes to meet Alice to understand why she has always harbored hatred towards her. It all dates back to when Charles was 5 years old. His father, Payne, suddenly sought a divorce from Mary under the pretext of pursuing his dreams. Mary was puzzled and only then discovered Payne's infidelity, which made her furious. Payne not only accused Mary of always disapproving of his work, but also praised his confidante, Sophia, for appreciating his talent. Despite Mary's efforts to save the marriage, Payne insisted on the divorce, abandoning the family, including Charles. Young Charles, unaware of the truth, mistakenly believed it was Mary's stubbornness that drove Payne away. However, it was Payne's haste to leave that led to his fatal accident. For Mary, the fact that her husband lost his life while seeking his lover is a painful truth she struggles to articulate. Alice, resembling Sophia in appearance, has been the object of Mary's resentment. Alice finds it incredulous, refusing to accept that this justifies Mary's years of wrongdoing. Regardless, it was Mary's malice and callousness that led to the loss of her family members and Charles's disappointment in her. Alice chooses to distance herself from Charles, and her words awaken Mary, but it's all too late. On this day, Charles is chatting with Sheldon when he unexpectedly receives a call about Mary's car accident. This frightens Charles, who urgently wants to go to the hospital to find Alice. Seeing Charles in such a panic, Sheldon decides to accompany him. Charles nervously searches the hospital for Alice's presence. He spots a nurse wheeling a body, mistakenly thinking it's Alice who has passed away in the accident. As he prepares anxiously to uncover the body, Alice suddenly appears behind him. It turns out Alice only suffered minor scrapes and cuts, nothing serious. Witnessing their intimacy, Sheldon finally realizes why Charles suddenly decided to invest in his company. It was for Alice, and he regrets his previous ignorance. Charles tenderly tends to Alice's wounds, and Alice appreciates his efforts. Through this incident, Charles realizes he cannot be without Alice. He passionately expresses his love to Alice and intends to kiss her. However, upon sensing that he may be overstepping, Charles decides to abandon the idea and sits beside Alice instead. Alice notices Charles's fondness for her and ultimately decides to reconcile with him. Her heartfelt words surprise Charles greatly. She promises to stand by Charles in the future, bringing him immense joy. After enduring hardships, this couple, who have suffered much agony, finally find happiness together.